Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you're watching and you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel because I'll definitely appreciate it. So in today's video, I'm gonna share my journey migrating from Jamaica to Canada and the reasons why I decided to move. So if this is something you are interested in, please stay tuned. So I was introduced to migrating to Canada in 2015 by a friend who told me about express entry. At the time, express entry was something new, just coming out. And I wasn't thinking about migration because I thought I was gonna live in Jamaica all my life. And that's something I was pretty okay with. But the idea, something new, I was like, okay, let me give it a listen. So I was doing some probing, asking some questions. So I asked the person, is this something that's gonna cost a lot of money? The person said yes, money was involved. And from I heard that, I was like, I don't think this will be an option for me, because at the time I was out of university trying to figure out life. If you went to UTech, you know, after school, that goal that they sell you that you're gonna get a good job, things are gonna be okay, you know, that's not true. So I was definitely struggling there, trying to figure out my way through life. And then again with immigration, I just always think it's something that someone is gonna file for you, like your mom, your dad, if you're married, your husband, your wife. So for me, I didn't have either, so it was not an option for me. But after the person told me, I did some more research on my own, but I left it there in 2015. In I think 2017, 2016, another friend was telling me about migrating to Canada, but this time it was through school. So at the time I was in a career that I wanted to excel in. I was okay. So my focus at the time was to go to university, continue my education, do a master's in that field to advance and stay in Jamaica. So that was my plan for then. But asking questions just out of interest, so what would school cost? What would be the process? The person was telling me a little bit more about the details about studying in Canada and what that would entail. So after that discussion, the tuition was like about 25,000, 17, something like that. And I know that's something I could definitely not afford. So I wasn't open to that at the moment. But in the following year, I think the person migrated, left for school. And while the person was in Canada, she was still encouraging me, Gavina, I think this is something you can definitely try as well. But I was like, okay. So in 2019, I did the IELTS exam so I could qualify to get into the pool. Did my WES documents for those to be certified to go into the pool. And in 2019 again, I visited Canada twice, and when I came, I really liked it. It became an option of somewhere where I could possibly live. So my interest started to develop. So I started doing more research on YouTube, reading about different ways to migrate to Canada. So after I did my IELTS exam, went into the pool, I was waiting for a very long time. I think it was 1 year and nothing was happening. So I was like, I did not want to go to school again, because by this time I'd already completed my master's. I was okay in the career I was in. But you know, it's something that's still in the back of your mind, saying maybe this could be a new opportunity, something for me to try. So I think in that year again, I did the IELTS test so I could get more points, because it's so competitive and we know the more points you have, the better your chances. So my friend encouraged me to do the test, but doing some more research, I realized the knot that I was in would not qualify me for express entry. So at the time I said, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in Jamaica, buy a house, build, start life, and just forget about this Canada thing. But little did I know what life had in store for me. So moving forward to 2020, the pandemic, we know everything was crazy. Then I lost my job. So my friends were encouraging me, Gavina, it's a good time for you to maybe look into this Canada thing again, because there's nothing really holding you back. There's no job right now. So this is an opportunity and it's the best time. So it's something maybe you can take advantage of right now. So I was like, okay, I will look into it. So I still wanted to make sure that I was still searching for a job, to see that as an option to continue living in Jamaica. But after 2 months, it was the pandemic. A lot of places weren't hiring. So I was like, maybe I could give the Canada thing another try. But I know this time, if I'm gonna go to Canada, I would definitely need to go to school, do the postgraduate work permit after, get the experience, and then apply to express entry again. So I was like, okay, I will try to see if that will work out. But in all of those things, I prayed. I said, God, if this is something you have for me, then when I apply for my study permit, approve it. If this is not the plan for me, reject it, and that's something I would be okay with. So after applying for jobs for 2 months, nothing was happening. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this Canada thing a try. So the plan was to go to Saskatchewan because that's where my friend is. So somebody who's there, who went through the process already, would provide a little bit more guidance. So I found the school. I was gonna apply for the school, but doing some more research, I found a Centennial College in Toronto, and the tuition was, I think, $2,500 cheaper. And at the time, money was tight because I only had the money for my first semester. So I was like, $2,000 cheaper. It's better I go with this. But we know the struggle with going to Toronto because it's very competitive. So finding a job quickly after school would be challenging. So the best thing is to go to a smaller city. When you get your qualifications, you get your PR, then you can choose where you want to live. But at the time, it was cheaper for me, so I had to go with that option. But some good things, some bad things with the pandemic. The borders were closed, so the government gave the option to stay in your home country and study. So I moved from Kingston back to Portland with my family. I stayed in Jamaica for 4 months, so I took the option to stay in your home country for a period of time and then move to Canada. I know that was very risky, but at the time, money was tight and I wanted to spend some more time with my family before I make this big move to Canada, because I know once I left for Canada, I wouldn't go back to Jamaica for a period. So I wanted to spend some more time with my family. So I spent 4 months in Jamaica studying, trying to save money. I did a 1-year program. And I know for a lot of persons, the 1-year program is a bit risky because when you study for 1 year, you will only get a 1-year work permit. So I knew the risk I was taking, but financially, I could not afford to study for a 2-year program, and I just did not want to go back to school after completing school just recently for 2 years. So I stayed in Jamaica for the 4 months. So last April, I came to Canada to complete my studies. When it was time for me to leave Jamaica, another struggle, the border was closed. So it was very challenging trying to get into Canada at that time. So I had to go through the US, and that's the way I came in. I was a bit worried that it's only 4 months if they were gonna accept me at the border. But God is good. All those things work out, came over. So school was online for 4 months. So financially, money was tight. So I reached out to different people I knew in Canada if they could offer me a place to stay for a couple months until I just complete school and I get on my feet and I can make it. So a friend offered me a place to stay in Ottawa, and ever since I've been living in Ottawa. But I've been on my own. I found a job, so focusing on getting the work experience to qualify for express entry. So that is complete. So I'm currently in the pool again, waiting to be selected. So just to recap, migrating to Canada was something that was introduced to me in 2015. I was told about express entry. I was told about going to school. At the time those things were introduced to me, it's something I wasn't interested in because it was just something I could not afford financially. But after the pandemic, losing my job, I decided maybe it was a good time to move to Canada, try something new, search for some new opportunities as well. And doing your research, you see so many people talk about migrating to Canada, but when you get here, it's a different experience. And I came in a time in the pandemic when everything was locked down. Even finding a job to assist with my tuition for school was a challenge because I only had the first semester tuition. So the goal was to come to Canada, work, so I could come up with the money to pay for my second semester. So it has been an interesting journey, I can say, because it's completely different from Jamaica culturally. Even in school, the way how they set up their courses, it's pretty different, and it's something you definitely need to get accustomed to. Settling, people don't really talk much about what it's like living in Canada because you're moving from Jamaica to Canada. It's gonna be a whole different ballgame. There are gonna be struggles, and it's important for persons to know, not because you have this type of education, you are a manager, you are a director. When you come to Canada, you're starting over. So if that's something you're open-minded to do, then I think you can make it. So doing my research, talking to persons who were living in Canada, I know once I came over, I'm gonna be starting right from the bottom, building. And I was okay with that. So I just wanted to share the reason why I decided to leave Jamaica, the way I came to Canada. I came as an international student. I did a 1-year postgraduate certificate in HR from Centennial College. After that, I applied for my postgraduate work permit, completed my 1 year working. So I'm currently in the pool waiting to be selected through express entry. And I know in the new year, some new programs should be coming out. So let's see how that's gonna go for me as it relates to getting my status here. But I'll definitely be sharing a little bit more in detail, step by step, from the study permit, coming over to Canada, completing school, what was school like in this country, my first jobs working, because I have some stories, and where I'm currently. So I just want to share my experience. If you find this information useful, you can let me know. You can leave a comment if you have any questions about migrating to Canada, what life in Canada is really like. I'll definitely share. But thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like, share with a friend, turn on your post notification bell so you never miss an upload. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.